Yo, today about to be reacting to the greatest comeback in NFL history, Bryce Young's redemption story. Now, I don't watch too much Bryce Young, but I know, was he a rookie last year? If not 2 years ago. Anyways, when he was a rookie, people were saying he a bust. But hey, he must be footballing this year. Footballing is basically hooping. When you hooping, you hooping. You footballing, you footballing. He footballing, but let's get straight to it.
Bryce Young might be on the verge of having one of the greatest redemption stories in the history of the
He
NFL.
definitely footballing this
A year
year.
and a half into Bryce Young's NFL career, we thought it was over. We thought he was finished. The
See,
former
that's
high
that be people's problem. They don't be giving the rookies time to break into the league. Like for example, with the Cooper Flag situation, people he coming to y'all giving him all these high expectations. He gotta get used to his team. He gotta get used to the league. You know what I'm saying? He gotta work out the. He gotta do some stuff. He gotta do some reps. He gotta play a couple games. Gotta get the feel for it. When he get the feel for it, he gonna be hooping just like he was hooping in college. Simple.
trophy winner.
Maybe
The
better.
number one overall draft pick walked quite literally into one of the worst situations a top quarterback prospect has ever inherited. And from his very first NFL snap,
Damn.
it was looking like Bryce Young was on his way to being on the wrong side of history. Just a year ago, people were calling Bryce Young one of the biggest busts the NFL
That's what
had
I'm
ever
saying.
seen. Now, a year later, his career has done a complete 180, and he has the Carolina Panthers deep into the 2025 NFL season competing for a playoff spot. So the question becomes simple. How did this happen? How did Bryce Young go from certified bust to NFL star? Right? Because Bryce Young's
Gained his
career was damn near
confidence.
already 6 feet deep. Nail was already in the coffin. They was putting dirt on the coffin. The fact that we are here today in 2025 talking about Bryce Young in this manner, talking about Bryce Young possibly leading the Carolina Panthers to a playoff spot is nothing short of a miracle. Because the Panthers literally did everything in their power. The Panthers literally did everything that they could to try and ruin this guy's career before it even had a chance to get started.
How though?
They traded away every good player that they had. They
Oh,
traded away DJ Moore. They traded away Christian McCaffrey. They traded away Brian Burns. They continually put him out there with zero weapons, an atrocious offensive line, and made Bryce fend for himself. The Panthers' decisions during that time period were so bad. It was like they were still tanking, and nobody told them they could stop now. It was like
okay.
nobody.
But to be fair, if you want to say that they still bad, they traded away all their weapons. What if they trying to rebuild behind Bryce Young? I feel like they rebuilding around their young quarterback. They about to make him a team. Hey, and they gonna be a threat in the future. But right now, hey, it's too much shit going on.
Came and tapped the Panthers organization on the shoulder and said, "Hey, guys, you did it. You can stop tanking. You did the thing. You got the number one overall pick. You drafted the guy that you wanted. You guys can actually try and win football games now." Like
No, they need more
nobody
picks.
gave them that memo. Like the friend that can't swim, Carolina took Bryce Young, threw him smooth off the side of the boat, no life jacket, no floating device, nothing, and told him, "Hey, sink or swim." Right? Sink or swim. It was so bad. I even came in here and I said the NFL needs to take control of this Carolina Panthers franchise. With how poorly things were being ran, the decisions they made just did not make sense. In a time where a year or two ago, the NFL quarterback position was in the dumps. I'm talking about the NFL quarterback position as a whole, and the performances that we were seeing on the field were in question. We were questioning the validity of how great the quarterback
That
position
was
was
a
in the NFL. The
terrible
last
throw.
thing the NFL needed at that time was for their guy, their number one overall pick, a guy that they thought would be very good, a guy that could possibly be a face of the NFL for years to come, to be handled as poorly as Bryce Young was handled, right? Again, we're not talking about some second round pick. We're not talking about the 32nd overall pick. We're not talking about a fifth round pick. We're talking about the number one overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner out of the University of Alabama, being handled the way that we saw Bryce Young be handled. In Bryce's first year in the NFL, he completed only 59% of his passes,
Damn.
threw only 11 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and he was sacked 62 times.
Okay, bro. Okay, you can give them all that. The the interceptions, the touchdowns, cool. But the sacks, you're not gonna put that. You can't really put that on him. Y'all got to put that on that weak ass offensive line that y'all got him behind. Trust, bro, because ain't no way you getting sacked 60 times. He ain't. He left that season with CTE, bro. Ain't no way.
Somehow in 2023, the Panthers managed to sneak out 2 wins. Then to start Bryce's sophomore campaign in 2024, one of his first passes of the season got picked off. They lost their first 2 games by a combined 60 points, and after only week 2, Bryce was benched for a 37-year-old Andy Dalton. From that moment right there, we thought it was done.
I remember that.
We thought it was cooked. Clearly, we had never seen something like this happen. A career end so quick. We thought we would never see Bryce Young get an opportunity like that again. But there was light at the end of the tunnel. There was light at the end of the tunnel. How Bryce Young managed to escape career death. How he managed to pull his career out of the depths of the hell that the Panthers had buried him in is something that we have never witnessed before. Again, we're not talking about Sam Darnold's resurrection with the Minnesota Vikings. We're not talking about Jared Goff getting to Detroit with Ben Johnson resurrecting his career or Baker Mayfield going to Tampa. Bryce Young's career started and then it ended very quickly after.
But it's like, how can you do that? Y'all didn't give him no time. Like, y'all had to give him no time. Like I said at the beginning, because you need reps to get used to the flow of things. Going from college to the NFL, that's a big jump. And skill gap and everything, because you had to adjust to the new skill level. That's all. That's how I see it.
It was that bad. You watch Bryce Young today in 2025, he looks like a completely new person.
Yeah.
Right? The confidence he's throwing the football with, how he's moving in and out the pocket, his leadership, he looks physically stronger. He looks just mentally more confident. And he's got the Panthers in a position to win the NFC South and make the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade.
Damn.
Right? And it's because
was the last time they made the playoffs with Cam Newton? If so, that's crazy, because Cam Newton ain't been on the Panthers since I was in like middle school. Boy,
finally
10 years. How old was I 10 years ago? Nigga, I was like, I'm 22 right now. I was like 12, 13. That's crazy.
And the one
bro.
thing that every quarterback in this league needs in order to be successful is that they finally got him some help.
Cam
They
Newton
finally
was a dog,
stopped
though.
putting him out there with just anybody. They finally got their number 1 overall pick some help. And I know it's a wild concept, a wild thing for us fans to wrap our heads around. And not only fans, but NFL organizations sometimes.
Yeah, let's not get it misconstrued. I don't really watch football like that. I'm not a big Panthers fan, but I pay attention to certain people, and it's one of the people that I pay attention to. Just because of the simple fact, I didn't like how people counted them out after like barely a year of service. Like, no bull. I feel like every rookie deserves grace. People be so quick to throw that bust name around. Like, you can call somebody a bust like they second, third year into their career, but the first year though, you want him to come into the league and win a Super Bowl? You think he's Tom Brady? No, he's not Tom Brady.
Think
no.
like, hey, if you take your number 1 overall pick, one of the best college quarterbacks of the last decade, and you just give him a little bit of help, he can win you some football games. Right? I know it's wild. You think if anybody would have understood that concept, it would have been the Carolina Panthers. They gave Heisman Trophy winner, one of the greatest college football players of all time, in Cam Newton, the bare minimum on offense back in 2015, and he took that squad to 15 wins and a Super Bowl appearance.
If Cam Newton had a better squad, I agree with him when he said if he had Jalen Hurts, that's the quarterback name. If he had Jalen Hurts' squad, he would have had multiple rings, because Cam Newton was a dog. And then he started getting bounced around the league like a blunt, then slowly depleted. I really lost faith in him when he was on the Patriots. I don't know what the hell he was doing on the Patriots. Man, that was the death of his career, the Patriots. No boy.
Right? Cam Newton does not get enough credit for this. Cam Newton, yes, he had Greg Olsen at tight end.
Yeah.
Great player. But bro won an MVP. One of the greatest seasons we ever seen. Made it to a Super Bowl with his wide receiver room being Ted Ginn Jr., Jericho Cotchery, and Devin.
Hey, y'all, let me get an ad block when I get monetized. Don't worry about it. But how your day going? Word.
Funches. Right? I don't have to repeat those names again. The Panthers went out and got Ted McMillan out of the University of Arizona. He's on pace to go for over 1,000 yards and leading all rookie receivers. They finally got a run game going with Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. And like I read that off, and it's between you and I, it's not much. It's not a whole lot, but at least it's something. And Bryce Young is making the most out of it. He is out there balling. He's got the Panthers to 7 wins already.
Yeah, he
They're one game
footballing.
back out of the lead in the NFC South. Bryce Young deserves his respect, right? Because it shows
Look at that dot.
exactly what
I
he's made
mean,
from.
he
It
was
shows
wide
exactly
open.
the cloth that
Little
he's
route by
built
the
from
receiver.
and how he's able to come into the NFL the way that he did, take the beating that he did, take the scrutiny that he did, right? He was called
Beating. That man got tortured. You talking about he got sacked 60 times? I never heard of that, bro. No
one of
bull.
the biggest busts in NFL history. He was being compared to Jamarcus Russell. He did not complain once. He did not throw anybody under the bus. He did not bat an eye. He got benched in year 2 for 6 weeks, came back better, ready to play, and opened up his 2025 campaign
Yeah.
handling business. Most quarterbacks today aren't built like that. Most quarterbacks today could not handle what Bryce Young had to handle early in his career. We see college quarterbacks transferring after not starting in year 1, right? Even today, I mean, a great example is how the Minnesota Vikings, how they're handling J.J. McCarthy this year in that entire situation, right? It was an example of one of the most soft launch benchings we had ever seen. And I don't even know if that's a term. I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know if we've seen that before. But it was clear that after 2 weeks, J.J. McCarthy just wasn't NFL ready. So instead of flat out benching him, all of a sudden a mysterious ankle injury pops up out of nowhere. And the very next day, I'm talking about that very next morning, before he even had a chance to practice on it, run on it, nothing. They just ruled him out for multiple weeks. And then it just so happens that the moment Carson Wentz gets hurt, goes down with his shoulder injury, JJ's just ready to play the next week, right? He goes and beats the Lions, and then from there it just goes downhill. He proceeds to look no better in the following weeks, and then all of a sudden he's back in concussion protocol. He's
Dang.
back in concussion protocol. They start Max Brosmer. He looks like a undrafted third string rookie quarterback against one of the teams,
He can't
one
be
of the
that
NFL's
bad.
best defenses and one of the NFL's most hostile environments. And all of a sudden, oh, it's like JJ's back. He's out of concussion protocol. Like Coach Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings clearly were sparing JJ McCarthy's feelings. They're clearly sparing him from the scrutiny and the media backlash that they would have got from just outright benching him. But that situation was handled completely and utterly terrible, right? But Bryce Young, he looks great. He was handled terribly, and he has turned this thing completely around. And quite frankly, he looks good with the Panthers roster that still isn't even that good.
Yeah, bro. All I'm saying is, look, give him a little more time, maybe 2, 3 more years. He gonna be a consistent playoff contender. Just give him some good receivers, not even good receivers. Give him some better receivers and a decent running back. They a playoff contending team, consecutive. Like they gonna keep going to the playoffs. Maybe get a Super Bowl. I might be reaching, but hey, man, put some put some talented receivers around that talented QB and watch what the fuck happen. That's all I gotta say. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Let me catch you niggas in the next one. Yes, sir.